The January patch is finally dropping tomorrow, and the developers have raised the patch notes a day ahead for us to dissect. Welcome to Agent Noob everyone, and let's explore what's in store for us for tomorrow's patch. Let's start with the general changes. First of all, the acceptable pool of appropriately skilled player you will match with has been increased by 67%, which means that finding a game will be significantly quicker now. We don't really know how much this will impact the quality of the games found yet, but hopefully this shouldn't matter too much. Professional scouts receive a much-needed nerf, in which scouts are now 35% slower when they carry an animal carcass. The developers have mentioned the reason is due to how strong they are in the feudal age, though I'm not quite sure if this will be enough to stop the pro scout meta. It's a positive change for sure though, and we'll see how it plays out. I might stop calling the horsemen as trashmen because they get a much-needed buff themselves. An additional pierce armor in each age feudal onward should make them better at engaging against masked archers now, and I'll be making a video specifically about the horsemen soon as well. Stay tuned. Alright, now let's move on to the civ-specific changes. Starting with the Holy Roman Empire, their spearmen can finally brace properly against cavalry units, which means you can finally use them now. The prelates are also allegedly fixed and won't bug out anymore, so if those fixes are consistent, we might see some more Holy Roman Empire games soon. Since the prelates are finally fixed, I'll also be making a video about them soon. Next up is the Rus. Everyone can rejoice to hear that the horse archers get a big hit, as their attack speed is nerfed by 20%. Furthermore, the incendiary arrows technology bug that affected the horse archers are also fixed. Once again, we'll find out soon if the nerf and bug fix are enough, but I think this is a good start for sure. The Rus also had one more tweak, and it's for their warrior monks. They will now be 25% slower when carrying a relic, and I think this is a good change as it was far too easy for them to get into position to pull off a big Wololo or snatch the relics across the map so quickly. The most broken civ in the game, the Mongols, received some significant nerfs as well. First of all, they now begin with 50 less wood at the start of the game. Second, their outposts now cost 100 wood, up from 70. This means that if the Mongol player wants to tower rush now, they'll have to chop 80 more wood to drop the first tower. I'm really not sure if this is enough though, but we'll see how the player base will react to these changes. Apart from the nerfs mentioned, the Mongols can no longer build multiple uvus, and the Khagan's palace can now be packed correctly. Good to hear. Moving on to the Delhi Sultanate, they finally get a much needed second nerf from the developers, as they were completely broken, possibly more so than the Mongols. Of course, I'm just kidding. The Delhi gets some bug fixes and some reworks. Just like the Holy Roman Empire, their spearmen can finally race, which is great news. The bug of keep tech times increasing while being in the influence of a mosque is also fixed. Apart from those two, there have been some changes to research times as well. There's no need to go through each one of them individually, but the adjustments have been made mostly based on their likewise technologies, so the base research time went up for some and down for some. And finally, the Chinese, with their infamous Fire Lancers, get nerfed of course. I had a lot of people tell me on my Fire Lancer video that they're fine and you're just supposed to wall up, but thankfully, many others, professional players, and the developers have agreed that they needed to be tuned down. The Fire Lancers on both the Castle and Imperial Age get an HP buff up from 135 to 155 and from 160 to 180 respectively. Their insane AoE damage is nerfed by a whopping 50%, so they'll now deal half the damage to the surrounding units. And finally, their torch damage has been nerfed by roughly 30% on each age, so building sniping with them will be slightly more difficult. But are these changes enough? I personally think so, as their damage output against clumped up units took a massive hit, and it won't be as difficult to deal with them using other mounted units at the very least. Once again though, we'll have to wait and see how good they are after tomorrow. Well, that's pretty much it in terms of changes. They've mentioned a few things at the end as well. Quote, right now, we're looking into strengthening the Abbasid dynasty, improving counterplay versus siege weapons, tuning demolition ships, ensuring elephants and mounted cavalry units no longer attack faster when their animation is cancelled, and a variety of other changes. While it is good news that they have these issues on their radar and they will be addressed next month, I just really hoped that at least fix animation cancelling or make changes to siege, or specifically the Chinese bombards, or fixing the very clearly busted demo ship bug. The state of the game is unfortunately still awful competitively speaking, with those issues still in the game, as tournaments are riddled with professional players being forced to animation cancel or use demo ships, which ruins the fun for both players and the viewers. In other words, Relic and Microsoft have shown us their cards, how they work, and how they'll handle Age of Empires 4 moving forward. They've shown us that they will fix things eventually, which is good, but they will be painfully slow at it. I'm not going to dwell too much on this topic, but it's disappointing to see that they're significantly slower at patching things up compared to the industry standard for AAA games. Of course, we will eventually get to the point where we'll need much fewer patches after all the bugs are ironed out, but it's very clear now that it will take a long time. It does not seem that Relic will prove my original prediction wrong that Age of Empires 4 will be a polished and completed game by 2023 anytime soon. Well, that's pretty much it for this one, folks. As always, I'll be covering all things Age of Empires on this channel, so if you've enjoyed this quick summary, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel to support us in this journey. I will be releasing a new video regarding the lumber camp upgrades, so stay tuned for that as well. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't animation cancel in your games, and see you all in the next one.